Where do you discover or uncover yourself? In which places or domains do you learn the most about yourself? Where does your purpose come alive? Do you know? I think it's imperative that you know, and I'm inviting you to find out. In a previous video, I said that purpose is not a destination or an accomplishment, but rather it's the way that you travel in this lifetime, figuratively and sometimes very literally. For me, expansion of ideas, of people, of perspectives is a way that I travel. Emotional exploration is a way that I travel. Cycling is a way that I travel. Like all of these are different ways that I live out who I am in an active way. Okay, so that's what I mean. That's a brief thing of purpose is how you travel and not a place. But there's a whole video about that. In this video, I'd like to introduce the idea that your purpose or your natural state of being, how you travel, needs a place. And a place that is not your head. But it needs a place to realize itself, to materialize itself. Allow me the privilege of explaining. Hi, I'm Melvin, and on this channel I discuss purpose, identity, creativity, and how to live and be in this life as yourself. Let's get into it. Albert Einstein is said to have said that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then for its entire life it will believe that it is stupid. Additionally, if you train and keep an animal in captivity, feeding it even, marching it out for 3 times daily shows, that animal becomes unequipped despite its biological predisposition to survive, much less thrive in its natural environment. Like these metaphorical animals, if we as humans, smart as we are not in our right environments, our greatest talents and easiest natures also cannot come alive in us. So as we discuss and work with this idea of purpose, it is also of importance that we consider the places where you feel the most alive, engaged, and excited, or pulled. That's also important and valuable too, because in these places there is this energetic conversation between what you're enjoying, the energy that you radiate, and then how that environment impacts you. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In a previous video, I introduced the foundational concept that you are a soul in a temporary body and experience. So let's work with this for a second. If you are this timeless etheric vapor that chose to participate in the world of form, Earth, then you work out that soul purpose in the world of form. The place is as important and inseparable as the purpose. For whatever duration you're here, and your best and primary contribution will be here in the world of form, despite the fact that you are this etheric timeless thing. So just as it's important to be here on Earth and in this body, it is just as important that you find your places and domains where you come most alive while you're on planet Earth. So for me, when I started cycling, I realized that this is a domain where my thinking is sharpest, my body is fully in use, and I can satisfy and activate who I am as a person. So it doesn't need to be some lofty thing. It's just like in what ways, what places, you can also kind of consider them activities, but what places where you go, where you are, where you put yourself or your mind, but that you come alive in, you are most radiant in. And so the range of these places is endless, and you aren't chained to a singular location forever. But consider, do you feel alive in creative hubs or busy places like a coffee shop or a town square? Do you feel yourself in perfect harmony when you're with an instrument or in a music store or school? Do you feel most in tune when you're in a church or a mosque? Do you feel most in touch when you're connecting with and relating to another person? Or do you feel most enlightened when you're in a secluded cavernous space? Or do you come alive on the page when you're writing? So there's some flexibility here with these places and domains. The point or the aim is to identify for yourself those places and or spaces where it feels like you are most in touch with yourself and internally moving forward or expanding. I'll explain how this worked for me in a variety of ways. Prior to starting this channel, I had been writing on Substack for about 2 years. Before then, I never considered myself a writer or really gave much thought to writing in the future, and certainly not in that way. I just felt pulled to the page and needed a space to work out my thoughts and ideas for myself and others. Over these years writing in this space that was the page, I uncovered more of myself and activated aspects of myself, like my hopeful perspective or my desire to expand others on the page. My place was a page, and then another, and then another, and then another. And from that, responding to the pull or draw to that particular place, it's activated these other places that I now find myself in and wanting to contribute in. And so another version or alternative to writing, and again with writing, it needn't be for like public consumption or distribution, but it's like if the page is your space, then the page is your space. Because another version of this is simply journaling. And I'll also offer some recommendations as it relates to writing in the future. A more physical place of mine is any elevated space high up where I can get wide open and almost detached views. In places like this, I can access broader perspectives and deeper and more quietly sweeping internal insights. Or, as was instrumental to all the writing I was doing, walks. Walking and being in my body and in nature helped me to work out all the things that wanted to be said through me. And so often we try to take the hard route of being planted right where we are and expecting to have the best results, when that best and highest result might be connected to experiencing a particular place, being in a particular place, or regularly sampling a particular place to kind of influence the nature of thought. For you, that place may be your or other kitchens where, among all these different ingredients, all of your thoughts are ready to fire, whether you're preparing a meal or a rollout. That place may be a classroom where the meeting of minds stimulates and moves you and others forward and together in ways that you couldn't alone. Shout out to Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus. But an understated reason for doing just this is synchronicity. Synchronicity, or those coincidences where unrelated events happen together in a significant but unpredictable way, is a principle of our reality. It gives us clues and signs that we aren't insignificant and that we are active participants and co-creators of our experience of reality. I'm arguing that we can influence this and the uncovering of our purpose more if we identify, find, and put ourselves in those places, physical or digital, where we most come alive, where we're most engaged and excited, where our energy is most active and most aligned. Naturally, this includes people, as people are portals to worlds heretofore unimagined. So you might consider who you feel most alive around, and who, intentionally or not, reminds you to stay in uncomfortable or unsatisfying states of being, and then make adjustments where necessary. But returning back to animals, if you went to a state fair and you got a goldfish, you likely wouldn't give him a home inside a small bowl. You would want to find a container or an environment suitable for your goldfish. It's a goldfish, not a silverfish. Likewise, if you got a dog, you wouldn't relegate it to the house for all of its needs, smells, and experiences. You'd ideally let it experience the outside world so it could be the happiest and most dog-like it could be. You are no different than these animals, and your need to experience the places where you feel most you and most alive is just as important. You spending time in those places where you feel most you is important. So I invite you to go on a physical and then mental quest to consider and then find those places where you feel most alive, most active. And no, I do not mean Fiji, and for sure not Zanzibar. And maybe at its extreme, you realize, okay, the physical place that I live in, and maybe not just the home or the residence, but like the location, is I don't feel most alive here. Maybe I want to live near some water. Maybe I want to live in the mountains. Maybe I want to live on a different coast. But your energy is always in conversation with your environment. And so you might consider places and areas and domains to be just a small building block in the broader picture of you living your, I guess, most purposeful life, your most satisfying life, your most enjoyable life. So as we go, these tips and recommendations will, like Lego blocks, link together and will build upon each other so that we can make small adjustments so that we can define what is more us, release what is not us, so that we can have a more satisfying and individualized life. So if you consider purpose in your way of travel as a block, if you consider the realization of your soul as a block, and you consider those places that you feel most active and aligned as a block, we are well on our way to building a new world. I don't know if you knew that or not. But for now, and in service of that, we want to consider the places of our purpose. If not where we offer our purpose in our being, at least where we satisfy our unique being. As for me, my next place is the kitchen because I need to satisfy my hunger. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to some really cool places. And so until next time, bye-bye.